The Rhymney Valley carves through the green hills of South Wales. A number of small villages spill across the basin floor, places where residents once extracted coal from the surrounding land to power the engines of the British Empire. A stranger reportedly arrived there 6 weeks ago in the town of New Tregar. The houses running down Long Row are identical, pitched roofs, tan paint, satellite dishes angled skyward. The newcomer, 54-year-old David Gout, moved into a ground-floor unit pressed close to a rising hill. The tight community didn't initially take much notice. The flat was owned by the local government. "They're always moving people in and out," a neighbor told The Sun. Police have confirmed that 54-year-old David Gout, who was found dead at the property on Saturday, had been released from prison after being convicted of murdering 17-month-old baby Kai Ming-shek in Caerphilly in 1985. Matthew Horwood, Getty Images. But interest and suspicion were soon coiling around Gout. He slipped to his new neighbors that he had been in prison. Why, his story allegedly kept changing. But locals went digging into Gout's past for his secret. It may have cost him his life. "Who wants to live next door to a child killer or a pedo?" another neighbor told The Sun. On Saturday, Gout was found dead in his apartment, The Telegraph reported. 3 villagers have been taken into custody on suspicion of murder. But the coverage of the fresh bloodshed has suddenly thrown focus back on another crime from 1985, when a 17-month-old child was tortured and killed, a murder described at the time by a judge as the worst crime in the land. Article continued below. According to The Independent, the same David Gout was convicted and sentenced to life in prison for killing his girlfriend's baby. Gout was released from prison last year, eventually finding himself on Long Row. But what he did 33 years back is now believed to be a possible motive behind his own sordid end. "There have been a lot of rumors around here and some people remember the baby being killed," another neighbor told The Times of London. "People get angry at the thought of the village being used as a dumping ground. People have been talking about pedos and killers moving in here." The first crime happened 17 kilometers south, down the Rhymney Valley, in Caerphilly. Read more. He stole the identity of a dead 8-year-old. Police now want to know what he was hiding from. He thought his name was George. Then he found out he didn't exist. The Anforth shooter was afraid he was going to hurt people. The article continued below. Jane Pickthall was a young mother from Scotland. According to Wales Online, when she was 18, Pickthall had met a Chinese waiter. Together they relocated to Wales in 1983, eventually having 2 children. The youngest was Kai Ming-shek, known as Marky. When the couple split, Pickthall and her children moved into a flat in Caerphilly. In October 1984, Pickthall's new boyfriend Gout began living with the family. At Gout's murder trial, Pickthall told jurors her boyfriend initially got on marvelously on the night of Feb. 28, 1985, the young mother left her children with Gout for the night as she went out with friends. According to Wales Online, at trial, neighbors from both sides of Pickthall's apartment reported hearing loud noises and paint shouts throughout the night. "To me they sounded like doors slamming or feet stamping on floorboards. Very loud noises," a witness said, Wales Online reported. "They were bangs and crashes, that type of noise," but Pickthall returned home at 1:30 a.m., unaware anything was off. According to court testimony, she tumbled into bed with Gout. The two had sex. Marky was already lying dead in the next room. In the morning, Pickthall discovered her son's body pinned beneath a chest of drawers. At the trial, the mother described cradling the 17-month-old's dead body for an hour before shaking loose from her shock and calling for help. "I just stood there clutching him," Pickthall told the court. The prosecution maintained at trial Gout had murdered the baby, then staged the scene so it appeared the child had died from an accident. But the baby's injuries were consistent with being beaten and torture. The court heard, "The child would have been in considerable distress. It must have been a very painful condition," a medical examiner testified. "It must have been internal bleeding of at least a pint of blood in abdominal cavity due to laceration of the liver." They could have been caused by a severe blow with a fist or foot or the child being thrown at a hard surface and would have required severe force. Pickthall told the court she had little uncertainty about what had happened to Markey. A general view of the scene on Long Row where suspected child killer David Gout was found dead, on August 8, 2018 in New Tredegar, Wales. Matthew Horwood, Getty Images. There was no doubt in my mind that David was guilty of murdering my son, she told the court. The court agreed on July 18, 1985, finding Gout guilty of the baby's murder. The person you murdered was a defenseless little baby, and on the jury's finding you not only murdered him but also tortured him, the judge said, according to Wales Online. He was sentenced to life in prison. According to the Mirror, Gout was paroled in November after 33 years in prison. 6 weeks ago, he was assigned housing in Long Row in the Rhymney Valley. In his new home, Gout did not hide his prison sentence, neighbors told Wales Online. But he was cagey about the circumstances of his imprisonment. The story kept changing. He first of all told us he was inside for a crime, but he didn't do it, an unidentified man told the paper. He then said he had shot someone a long time ago, but we knew that wasn't true. Speaking with The Sun, another Long Row resident claimed to have been inside Gout's apartment and seen a letter with his full name, David Tracy Gout. Curiosity sent to the neighborhood to the computer. We thought that was unusual, so I googled him to see if I could find out what he had done, the resident said. That's when we saw the details of what he did to the baby boy. We couldn't believe it, the neighbor added. It's disgusting. I can't believe we have been living next door to that. Gout's body was discovered last Saturday at 3 p.m. Officials have yet to officially confirm the details, but they say it was murder. 3 murder suspects, David Osborne, 51, Jayan Harley, 23 and Darren Evesham, 47, made an initial court appearance on Thursday, the BBC reported. The men, all from New Tredegar, were remanded into custody until their next court appearance on August 13. The men entered no formal plea and do not appear to have legal representation. Gout's death delivered a double jolt of news to his victim's family. It has been such a shock for everyone, Jane Pickthall's son told the Mirror. We were never told he was being released on parole or that he'd been found dead.